Okay, so just a standard tuning here, E, A, D, G, B, E. And this initial progression here, we're just kind of, there's two guitars, one that just kind of like strums the chord, lets it ring, and one behind it that, more of an acoustic, just kind of strumming away on them. For this initial first guitar, just strumming, we want this voicing of a D minor 7, and technically like the bass is kind of carrying like the progression along. So if you want to try to include that just to give more of a reference as to like what's happening with the progression, because it's a lot of the same notes going on here, I kind of like to throw in the bass notes with it. If it's too much of a stretch or you're not into that, then you can just like leave these bass notes out. But with the D minor 7, I like to do this voicing here, and I use this configuration here just so I can get my index on the bass notes. So we'll have a 5 on the G, 6 B, and a 5 on the high E, and we want the open D bass note with it, so we have this D minor 7. Alright, and like I said, I like to throw in the bass note, the next bass note, which is C, so we'll want this 3 on the A, and we can just kind of deaden the D there, but just lightly having our finger touching it there. Alright, and like I said, some of the same notes, so we want that 5G and the 6B. Alright, and it's a C sus4 going on there. And then next bass note is the 3 on the E for the G. And we want all that we got down here. We skipped the A and the D string, you just deaden it. So we'll have the 5G, 6B, 5E. Alright, and with that bass on the top of it, it becomes like a G sus9. Alright, so a lot of the same notes, we're just kind of shifting the bass note here and maybe excluding a note or two here and there. So D minor 7, C sus4. Okay, we're leaving out that high E. And then the 3 on the E, full G sus9 now. And like I said, the guitar behind it is just kind of like strumming away on the chords. So if you want to do that, you could do that. Just you can just do something like that, it's fine. And for the verse now, we get to more of kind of like a picking through the chords, like arpeggiated stuff, and it's real loose and kind of flowy, so you can kind of, mix in the notes how you like here, but for the most part, you could just do a basic outline of it like this, where we start at that same kind of G position, or sorry, D position, the D minor 7, so you have to open D, do a little hammer on from the 5 to 7 G, and then we'll bounce between a 6B, 5G, 6B, so like something like that. Then we go to the C sus vibe, so we're going to bounce between like a sus2, sus4, so we'll hit that C bass note at the 3A, and then we'll have a 5G for that octave, and then initially we'll come down, hit that 3 on the B under it, back to the 5G, and then we can do a 6B for that sus4, back to the 5G, back to the 3 on the B, so we're just kind of like hitting it, go to the 6, come back out to the 3. Something like that. Shift over to now a B flat, So we go up here, we'll hit the 6E, and then we'll keep that 5G, 6B, and just go between those a couple times. And then we go back to our C sus4. So we'll want to do 3A. We'll do a 5G, 5B, hammer that 5B to 6. And then just go between the 5G and 6B. Okay, so we're just kind of like flowing in and out of these chords, picking through them. The verse, the end of the verse, we do everything pretty much like we usually did, all the way up through that B flat, right? But at the very end of the verse, we kind of do this A to B flat thing. So we'll just hit A octave notes here. So the open A, and then you could do a 7 D and a 10 B. And it's just kind of like a 1, 2, 3, slide it up to 8 and 11 on the D and B there. Okay, it's just this little pickup notes basically into the chorus. And you know, that's basically what we're doing in the intro there. So after we get through all that, we eventually get to this bridge, and it's this kind of upward arpeggiation on some high strings here. And this can be a bit of a stretch here, but it's kind of like the simplest way I found to do it. So we'll start here, and we do 5E, 3B, 3G. Okay, lift that 5E to 3 and just do 3s. And then 6B to 3G. All right, and then I come off to this lick where I'll have the open high E, then I do a 3B, 4G. And then we want a 1 on the E. Keep that 3B, 4G. And then just do a 1E, 3B. So we went. Okay, like I said, it's a little bit of a stretch, but if you have big gorilla hands, and you can probably get away with it. All right, and we go through that a handful of times, and at the very end, we wrap it up by switching to a G bass note, so 3 on the E. All right, and then we'll want to pick between like the 6B, 5G again, back to the 3E, and then you can throw in like an open high E, 6B, 5G, back to the 3G, shift to a B flat, so we'll have our 6 on the E, and then we'll go between 6B, 5G, 6B. And the only other kind of different thing that happens is at the very end, we kind of get like this improv of a scale here, and you can just do something like this where like we're doing like a D bass note over it and just kind of moving the G string. So we'll do that open D, and we'll go G, we go 14, 12, 10, do that a couple times. Go to 9 for a couple, 10. Zoom up here, do a few 14s up to 15. All right, and then maybe like the second run through, and these are all kind of like improv. You can mess around with those notes on that scale to what you think is cool. And for like maybe a second run through, you can do the same thing, 14, 12, 10, and maybe shift to like a lower set now. So we'll just do like the D octaves on the 5A open D. Maybe come up to 7 on the A with the open D under it. Slide up to 8, 7, 5. Okay, playing around in the lower set of it. So have fun with that, and just improv as we fade out the song.